What to do when one score refuses to move? For example, reading stays at band 6.5.
So this can often be one of three main factors or three main reasons. The first one is an English language problem, usually vocabulary. If we're talking about reading, vocabulary is probably the biggest limiting factor. That's the first one. The second one would be skills. So your reading skills. We all have a range of competencies and skills that we employ or we use when we're reading. And if you are weak at one of these, it may be increasing the time it takes you to answer a question or reducing the accuracy of your answers. And then the third one is maybe you are just bad at a specific question type, which appears in reading, but obviously you don't get in the other test types. All three of those reasons have different solutions. Some of them are easier to solve than other ones. So the first one, vocabulary, this is a language issue. This is the not hardest, but it takes the most time to solve. If your English level in reading is because of a limited vocabulary, you've not read that much English, you're not that familiar with English vocabulary in written form, then you just need to read more. You need to build up a vocabulary notebook of passive vocabulary. Of course, doing this will improve your listening, reading, writing, and speaking. If you're weak in reading but very strong in the other three, it's unlikely that it's a vocabulary and English language problem, but it is possible. Some people have been speaking and listening to English their whole lives, but they almost never read. So it can happen. The second one I said was skills. This is far more likely. If you are suffering in reading, but you're fine at all the others, you probably lack the skills to read a text quickly. The best advice I would give here is to learn strategies for not reading everything in the text, for finding the information necessary in the question. The best place to do this would be some of the classes that we have on reading. If you go to the study area of our website, we have, I think, 6 or 8 different classes that deal with skills like skimming and scanning texts, identifying keywords in questions in the text. This idea of you shouldn't be reading the whole text in detail before you look at the questions. You're not trying to understand this. This isn't a novel. You're trying to extract just the information you need to answer the question. So if those are the reading skills that you need to work on, that's often something you can improve within a matter of weeks with study, watching classes, and then going and doing practice. And we've got practice for lots of mock tests on our website. And then the third one is a question type problem. This is the easiest one to solve. Lots of students have specific difficulties with true, false, not given questions, or they find matching heading questions particularly difficult. Matching heading questions are less common, so that's less worrying, but true, false, not given, you're pretty much guaranteed to see this in your reading test. So if you struggle with those question types, then focus on those question types. You could often tell from your mock test which question types you've performed badly in, and so spend time practicing on those. Again, on the website, if you go to the practice area and you just want to do reading and listening, you can do reading and you can do just true, false, not given questions. Another thing we should mention is that on our website, we are launching an AI feedback system. So if you type the answer true and that's incorrect, then you can see why false is correct. But we will also analyze your answer and give you a reason why your answer was incorrect. For example, if you're writing notes and the answer is elephant and you wrote monkey, it will tell you why chimpanzee is correct and why your answer of monkey is not correct, for example. So those tools can really help you identify your problems in those question types. So yeah, hopefully your weakness is a specific question type and then you just hammer that question over and over again.
Exactly. It's not a solution to hope you will not get that question type in the exam. You need to practice and also practice the right way, perhaps using gel materials.
That's what preparation is. Yeah, it's just doing it lots of times because you might face it when the test day comes.